Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dragon's Library. So today we're going to be reviewing the new DC movie, Blue Beetle. Now for those of you who don't know, Blue Beetle was released on August 18th or August 15th, depending on where you're located. And it is just kind of the okayest DC thing ever. One of the more frustrating parts of this movie in particular, just that I'm going to get ahead of right out the bat in advance, it's just that it feels like a lower quality production than we usually see in theaters. And so I'm kind of going to be knocking points for that right out the bat. First up though, let's go over the premise. Blue Beetle follows Jaime Reyes. He's a recent graduate from the Gotham City Law School who comes back to his hometown, Palmera City. I don't know where it's located. It seemed at times like it was located in a South American country, but other times it was just like, it could be located in the US, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Anyhow, basically there's a big evil corporation, they've been taking over, the original owner of it went missing. His daughter decides to steal a piece of ancient alien technology called the Scarab from the company. In the process, passing it off to Jaime in order to hide it. The item bonds with Jaime and he becomes the Blue Beetle. The main premise behind the Blue Beetle as like a superhero, essentially he has a magic alien of like super advanced technology that binds with time and gives him the ability to form this suit of like Iron Man armor around himself that can turn into anything he wants. You know Iron Man's like nanobot armor from the more recent Avengers movies? It's basically that as a superpower. Meanwhile, the evil sister of the original CEO of the company is trying to get the Scarab back. And I'll give you 3 guesses for what does the evil corporation want to do with the piece of alien technology. And your choices are build a super soldier program, create super soldiers, or invent super soldiers. Whichever way you'd like to describe it, they're trying to make super soldiers. It's just such a cliche thing. Like, when was the last time you saw a good old super soldier experiment going wrong? Anyway, she sends a mercenary with his own pseudo Blue Beetle, homemade, homebrewed tech against Jaime. There's some fighting, and a superhero movie happens out of it. Now, before we move on to the actors, I do want to go back on what I was talking about earlier with the fact that this feels like a lower quality movie. And I will say it's not entirely the acting. While I did find most of the actors to be very jokey, and not really in a fun way, just kind of in an annoying way at times, I will say for the most part, they were all fine. They did their roles all right. But this movie just kind of looks like crap. I mean, I was willing to even give Wonder Woman 1989 a pass to an extent. But this movie looks like a CW show that was released for theatrical, like, cinematic screens. And it just does not work. It has that problem the CW always have with CGI where it's very, like, overly lit and shiny. And everything looks like a Playmobil toy. In addition to that, the acting, like I said before, is very janky, for lack of a better term. The characters are very over the top and emotive, but not like in necessarily a fun or reactive way, but more in a, we have to keep making these over the top expressions because eventually that'll signal that we're, fleshed out characters or whatever. It doesn't really work. And quite frankly, I enjoyed the Raimi family as a whole. I thought the uncle was actually a little interesting because he's fairly competent despite being a conspiracy theorist nut. Although I'm getting gradually very sick of the conspiracy theorist as an archetype in recent movies. I was very sick of what they did to that kid in the more recent Godzilla movies. The movie doesn't really have a standout actor or anything. Xolo Manduin? Sorry, I'm horrible at pronouncing names. He's the guy who's doing the Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes. But I feel like he's doing his best. But this script is like not helping him at all. It's just kind of an okay script. And he doesn't have the energy to make the few lines that are good, really good enough to make you overlook everything else. He's fine, he's serviceable, but this is very much like take your superhero out of the box and immediately put them to work in the most stock plot possible. Moving on to the conclusion, I think Blue Beetle is a below average movie in a lot of ways. It has a very average base plot without a lot of new twists and turns or clever tricks to really show off. They don't do the one interesting thing I've seen on Blue Beetle in Young Justice where he's like a sleeper agent for the alien race that created the Beetle. It's just super soldier bullshit again. The actors are doing okay, but they can't really do a lot with the lines they're given. And while I like the energy sometimes from the cast, I just didn't enjoy it throughout the whole film. So, with all that said and done, I'd probably give this a 5 out of 10. It's okay if you want to burn an hour or two, but really, I would not recommend going to see this at all. I think you're better off skipping, going to watch basically anything else. I'd recommend that Dracula movie that's still in there, Last Voyage of the Mater. It's a good horror movie. Or if you're looking for something more, adventurous and fun, go watch the new One Piece animated thing from Netflix, the live action adaptation. That was actually pretty good, and I will be releasing a review about that later on. So with all that said and done, let's move to the end card. So, on the end card, you can see we've got videos YouTube recommends and a playlist of all stuff we've done this year in the subscribe board. Go to my channel, click on the subscribe board, subscribe, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye.